All right. Welcome. DB talking now. DB talking birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. This is my post game report on the Eagles versus the Saints game today. The Saints were defeated by the Philadelphia Eagles 24-21. Obviously, the big news was the fact that Jalen Hurts was absolutely phenomenal in his first start at quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles today. He absolutely exceeded all expectations. I gotta say, going forward, it looks like Jalen Hurts just has to be the guy, especially for the rest of the season. I think that what I took away from today's game, Jalen Hurts just brought an energy to that team, to that offense, that absolutely got those guys going. 100%. It opened things up for the running game. Miles Sanders obviously had a huge game. That was something that I highlighted earlier in the week that I believed was going to happen. One of the things that I believed was going to be the key to victory in this game, and Jalen Hurts just made sure that he exceeded all of my expectations, pretty much everyone's expectations. Um, I think with that said, moving forward, um, if he continues to play, the way that he played today, I don't see how you go away from him. As I've said plenty of times in the past, I absolutely love Carson Wentz, without a doubt, hands down. Have every ounce of faith in the world in Carson Wentz, but with the way that Jalen Hurts played today, with how young he is, 22 years old, it would be probably the perfect time, in my honest opinion, the perfect time for a reset for this franchise. And the reset for the franchise would obviously be to move forward with Jalen Hurts, and and uh, and see how that takes you going forward. But that's if he continues to play the way that he's played. I obviously want to see him. I obviously want to see him do well, throughout the rest of the season, and then see what he looks like. See what he looks like in camp next season as well. Obviously, but hey, no. Right now, all I want to talk about is post game takeaways. It was a great win, and I kind of want to just kind of settle the night in with that and kind of just enjoy the win. Jalen Rager had a great game. Um, I think one of the key takeaways that does leave a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth is just the offense looked more creative. The scheme looked more creative. The play calling was more creative. And obviously, throughout the game, I was left questioning, where was all that with Carson Wentz at quarterback? But I think we're past that point. We're past that point at this point, at least for this season anyway. So right now we're just on the Jalen Hurts ride, and I think we just gotta enjoy it. I know I certainly enjoyed it today. I completely enjoyed what I saw. The fact that we put up around 250 yards of rushing offense was absolutely insane against the number one ranked defense in the NFL. Um, that's absolutely insane. The offensive line didn't give up any sacks to the number one ranked defense in the NFL in the New Orleans Saints. So again, there were some huge things to take away from this game, and those were two of them. Those are the huge things that we can take away, the huge things that we can take away and build on. At least that's my hope. I hope that we can build on those and find some consistency within those type of performances. The one thing I will say that I did not like the false starts. There was quite a bit of them. I think there was about two called on Nate Herbig. Nate Herbig's a young player, and he's been thrown in the action after a few weeks, and that's going to happen. And I'm not terribly worried about that. I think Jason Kelsey he's going to make sure that he gets his guys up to snuff fairly quickly. So I'm not worried about that whatsoever. And but no, I mean, overall, offensive line played great. Miles Sanders played great. Doug Peterson, for the most part, coached a great game. There were a couple of play calls I didn't quite agree with, like that 4th and 2 where he called the draw to Miles Sanders. I didn't think that was going to work. Malcolm Jenkins kind of snuffed them out in the backfield. Speaking of Malcolm Jenkins, had quite a few plays like that. Malcolm Jenkins had a great game today. But and so it was good to see him playing well. Will always have a spot in my heart for Malcolm Jenkins. So it was good to see him playing well. So there's that. The other play call I didn't necessarily agree with that Doug called was I think it was fourth and 1, and it was a QB sneak at the line of scrimmage with Jalen Hurts. At the time during my live stream, I mentioned this. There's a difference between Carson Wentz doing the QB sneak and there's a difference between Jalen Hurts doing the QB sneak. Jalen Hurts is like 6'1", 220, whereas Carson is obviously 6'5", like 247 or 245. So quite the difference there. But all in all, we came away with a win. Jalen Hurts exceeded all expectations today. I mean, he had over 100 yards rushing and about a $150 plus passing with the passing touchdown, which was a beautiful back shoulder touchdown to Alshon Jeffrey. Had man-on-man coverage there, and Alshon Jeffrey just turned around at the right moment and caught the ball, which is something what we've seen from Carson to Alshon before. But I just think that it's time. I think it's time, and I hate to say that. I think the young guys respond to Jalen better. And I think when the older guys come out and support Carson, I think it's just, loyalty, and understanding of what it's like to go through adversity. Whereas these younger guys haven't quite been through that adversity quite yet, and they want to go with the hot tool in the tool shed. You know what I mean? So, beautiful play. Speaking of amazing play, Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, called an amazing game today. An absolute amazing game. It's a shame that Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox and Rodney McLeod went down pretty much all in the third quarter, if I remember correctly. Pretty much all within the beginning of the third quarter. Because I would have loved to see how much better we would have done, because we were shutting the Saints down with all of our guys in there. And when those 3 guys went out, that's when the Saints started to have some success. But newly activated cornerback Kevin Seymour came in and played pretty well. He did give up the touchdown to not Traquan Smith, but to Emmanuel Sanders. So there was that. I mean, obviously, as a young cornerback, you're going to give up those guys, especially when you're brought up right off the practice squad. I mean, you're going to give up those plays. And Emmanuel Sanders is a vet in this league, and so you had to step on him. But speaking of that play, Emmanuel Sanders saying that's the one bright spot that I can take away from that touchdown that he gave up to Emmanuel Sanders was it looked like it could have possibly been a PBU instead of a touchdown there, and it could have easily been. But Emmanuel Sanders just made a great play, and it was a great throw from Taysom Hill as well. Josh Sweat had a great game. Really, really happy with his performance. I think Josh Sweat's performance so far overall this season with the snaps that he's gotten. I'm incredibly impressed with, and I'm really excited about the future for defensive end Josh Sweat. He is only a rotational player, and I believe that he has somewhere around 6.5 sacks, 7 sacks this season so far. Let me go ahead and bring that up because I brought that up earlier in the live stream today, wanting to know what that was exactly. So let me just go ahead and bring that up real quick because I'm curious. And then we had a couple scares. Obviously, Derek Barnett looked like he went down right after Malik Jackson went down. And I couldn't quite recall if Malik Jackson came back or not. I wasn't necessarily paying attention to whether or not he came back. I was just pretty much focused on, because I think it was that exact drive where the Saints got themselves into the 4th and 2, and then Josh Sweat came in, strip sacked Taysom Hill. It was a phenomenal play. It was absolutely phenomenal. Let me see here. Yeah, Josh Sweat has. Let's see. Josh Sweat. Sorry, bear with me for a second. I thought he got 1.5 in week 1. It looks like he's only got 1. But he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and he had 2 more today. So, yeah, Josh Sweat has 6 on the season. I believe he got 1.5 in 2 games so far. I believe he has 7, honestly, total. I just think that this site that I'm looking at right now, which is Pro Football Reference, is not counting the 0.5 that he got earlier in the season. So Josh Sweat played in a phenomenal game. Javon Hargrave probably had his breakout game as an Eagle, and he continues to progress each week over the last few weeks. So that's awesome. I think he's finally breaking free and busting loose within this defensive scheme. So that's awesome to see. Defense overall as a whole, Jim Schwartz coached a great game. Even when Darius Slay, Rodney McLeod, and Avonte Maddox went down, he just absolutely continued to call a great defensive game with the fill-ins that he had. And Jalen Hurts, once again, Jalen Hurts exceeded all expectations in this game and completely impressed and want to see more. I want to see more of Jalen Hurts moving forward. Absolutely proud of Miles Sanders. Glad that he got his game rolling on the ground. I got to give kudos to Jalen Hurts for that because his mobility does add an added dimension that does free up the running lanes for Miles. So I'm hoping to see that continue. And the one thing I was calling for throughout the game was just Jordan Howard. I'm surprised we didn't see a little bit more Jordan Howard in the fourth quarter, but honestly, at this point, I cannot complain. I'm just going to enjoy this win, and we'll just go from here. We'll see how the week plays out. I did see Doug Peterson's post-game press conference. He's not going to commit to who's going to be the starter for next week's game, but I have no doubt in my mind that it's probably going to be Jalen Hurts for the rest of the season. So they're probably just going to shut Carson down for the rest of the season and go from there. So, but anyway, those are my post game takeaways, and I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you so much. This is DB talking now. DB talking Birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. Let's keep this thing rolling, baby.